masks, these pieces of crap. So I'm Jeremy, and today we're going to talk about Dr. Steve Turley and the hypocrisy that these people in power have. His title for his video is Elite Hypocrisy, Climate Czar John Kerry Caught on Flight Without a Mask. It's like, oh yeah, he misses out on a lot. But I'm going to fill in some of those gaps, as I always do. And he's talking about how he got caught taking a flight, first class, and he doesn't have a mask on. And now it is hanging, it's on the side, and he's reading the book, and even the person who took the picture was like, yeah, it was for a while, but he did put it back on. And it's like, still, it doesn't matter because he's working for Joe Biden. He's part of the cabinet, the presidential cabinet, and this is his policy. Why do they have no accountability? If this had happened to somebody else, I can't imagine the uproar that could possibly happen. I don't know what's really going on, because even though they say something like that, that doesn't mean that it actually happens. So, for example, here, people were always yelling at me to wear a mask, and it's like, do you not know how to read? Do you not know what the hell's going on? I'm not going to do this. And so I've said this before. And so on the box, on step number 3, if it'll come into focus here, it's please change and dispose of the mask after 4 hours of use. You know, whenever you break down how much these things cost, it's less than $1 for a mask. Why the hell is anybody so stupid to think that something that costs less than $1 is going to do a damn thing for you? So if you like what I've been doing and you've been following along, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, become a member, have Patreon and subscribe star, blah, blah, blah. I'll get into more of this as we grow up more, as we grow in viewers and all that. So I know plenty of nurses, and so I was just talking to one the other day, and she was working, or is working, where they deal with the elderly and the scams and the nonsense that's going on with that. She was like, yeah, the only kind of masks that work that we ever use are those N95 masks, because that's the only thing, because you have to have a seal around your face, and then those filters, they only work for like I don't know how long on those filters. It's going to be 4 to 8 hours on those things. And you have to replace those stupid things out. You know, if you can even replace the filters out in the first place. So I know this because whenever I was in the Army, we had PPE gear. And it was the same thing. And one of the first things that you did if you ever got gas was that you were supposed to put on your mask, secure yourself first, just like whenever you're on a plane. If there's some kind of thing, the little mask drop down, you secure your mask first, and then you help others. And so you secured that, and then you yelled, gas, 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 as you waved your hands in the air. So because hearing someone with their mask on is really hard, but you can see that, and you do it 3 times as you yell gas 3 times. And they told you that those little filters that they had on those things, they're not going to protect you from anything. The chances are that you're going to die, because everybody knows, all the rivals out there, the U.S., they know what gases are going to work and not work, and so they're not going to waste their time with the ones that are actually going to filter out. And it's like, it's only this much of this many, so you're just going to die, or whatever's going to happen. Your skin's going to blister and peel, or whatever's going to happen. So have nerve damage with that. That's another big one. Respiratory lung problems. So anyways, this is all nonsense. And so one of the things that I want my website to do is I want to be able to provide accurate information. So I wonder if this was actually going on, would Dr. Steve Turley be able to do better on his stuff that he's talking about here? And so the hypocrisy with all this, that there are videos where the governors, like Gavin Newsom of California, where he's going and he's having a party with all of his fellow people, and there's quite a few of them. None of them are wearing masks. This is in the middle. This is several months into lockdown. You know, 7, 8 months into it. None of them. They don't care at all. You know, if you wear this, and you have this on your face, what happens if you're next to a smoker? You're going to smell it. So if you can smell the smoke, why do you think it's going to stop COVID? Just because you can't smell it doesn't mean that it's not there, doesn't mean that it's not getting in. It's going to do absolutely nothing for you. And the nurse talked about, and several of these nurses, they all say the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. It's trash. It's garbage. It's just a marketing ploy to make you go out and to buy these things. And I wore that damn thing once. One time. They were yelling at me, it's mandatory. It's like, well, then go call the police. I'm sure the police have nothing better to do than going around and dealing with something like this. And if it was such a big concern, then why haven't all the homeless people died? If it's so deadly and it's such a horrible thing, then why are all these? Because you know what? My health is a hell of a lot better than some damn homeless person living out there on the street. I eat better. I have a place to live. I'm not sleeping out there in the cold and with the bugs and just wherever, because you know what, animals, they don't have bathrooms. They will go wherever it is that they damn well please, and the chances that some animal has defecated right there where you are, where you're sleeping, is high. You know, so don't tell me this. You know, I have good food. I have access to medicine and medical. I have heat and air conditioning. I have all this stuff. And I don't see these homeless people dropping down like they have alcoholism, drug, substance abuse problems, all of these issues. And they're still out there. I see them all the damn time. And it's so don't tell me that there's something wrong with all this stuff whenever I see them just going around about their business, not wearing masks. I mean, where are they even going to get masks from? You know, they don't give a damn. You know, you give them money, you know what they're going to do with that money? They're going to go out and they're going to continue with their substance abuse problems, whatever it is that it may be. And I know this because I used to work out there on the boulevard. I was helping a friend opening up a store, and they would come in with wads of cash all the time. And they'd buy their little glass pipes and Brillo pads, or they buy alcohol and cigarettes or whatever it is that they were up to. And they'd be laughing the whole time because they scammed all these people out of this money. If you really want to help people in that kind of situation, then you go to a place where that's where they specifically deal with it, and you donate to them instead of these people. If you want to give it to them, then you need to go out and give them exactly what it is that they want. They want food, then you go get food. If they're wanting aspirin or something like that, then you go get aspirin. So I did see one where they were really good, where they were like, get a 10-gallon bag and fill it up with like a washcloth, maybe some breath mints, maybe a roll of quarters or a couple of rolls of quarters, a little protein bar, and just things, you know, that really aren't worth anything. But if you were really homeless and living on the streets, you should be appreciative and you should want something like that. So, and then all this crap with the climate change. And so I have a link in the description below for this video that he's talking about. And I have a link in the description below also with Jordan Peterson, where he's talking about climate change problems. And I had one of those videos before. This one is a longer one. It comes from Jordan Peterson Clips. I think it's actually his channel. And it's a clip, and he's at this university, he's talking about all this stuff, and this little snide comment comes from this snide little kid, and it's like, it's all wrong, and he just tears it apart. And then in the extra little bit, he talks about how, you know, one of the things from people are always kind of bitching and crying about how you're burning coal. And it's like, do you know that there are now more trees than there have been in the past 100 years? You know why? Because they're burning coal instead of wood. And it's like, you got to burn something. And what are poor people going to burn? They're going to burn wood. And you know what? If you're having a problem with carbon monoxide from all this stuff, then you know how you, the counter to that is, well, you have plants, because plants breathe in carbon monoxide and breathe out oxygen. Now we do the opposite. We breathe in oxygen, we bring out carbon monoxide. So here's some fun little things that are going on around the world. One of the things is that in China, they have the Great Green Wall and the yellow snake. And what that is that in northern China, they have this desert that keeps growing all the time. And they have gone out and they have just planted all of this vegetation. And I'll have a link in the description below about that too. And it's because it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And they're like, well, we're going to counter it, because what happens is that people go in and they cut down the trees. And the biggest problem is that they go and they kill all the predators. So they kill the lions and the bears and all this stuff because the people are scared of them. But what happens is that they don't kill things like deer and moose and all of these other large animals that eat up all the plants. And so all these new seedlings come down from the trees and bushes and everything, and then they get eaten up whenever they're small. And they get eaten up in excess because now there's a burst in the population of all these plant-eating animals that are out there, because they're not being put in balance by all these predators anymore. And so it devastates the landscape, and then it causes erosion, and it keeps eroding until nothing's there. And also that ranchers who are, you know, they're taking care of sheep and cattle and whatnot, they also just were allowed to just free range out there and just to eat all of this stuff up, and it just kept devastating all of this area. And now they've changed it, and they said, nope, you can't do that anymore. You've got to herd all this stuff on your land, and you're going to have to go out and buy food for these animals and feed them instead of destroying the environment out there. And it's working extremely well. They also do this in Egypt, where they've gone off and they've brought in water and all these plants, and they've done things that are suited for it. And this is something that has also happened in Texas, where one of the founders of Church's Chicken, whenever he retired and he sold out his portion of it, he went out and he bought 5,000 acres worth of land, and he did the same thing as they did in China, and he like tore it all down. He ripped up a bunch of these trees, and he said these trees are kind of like the weeds of the tree family, and they're very that they'll go in, they'll take over an area, and they'll kill everything else. So you have to get rid of them all. And then he planted a bunch of the native trees and bushes and grasses that were there, and then that allowed the ground to open up so it would accept water again and really dive down in there. And because of it, it got saturated, and now all of these lakes and rivers and ponds have now, I think he said there was like 11 of them, and I'll have a link in the description down below for all this. And it's like, you know what doesn't do anything? It's protesting and marching around with a bunch of signs. Jordan Peterson talks about one of the things that would really help is whenever he was on the UN Council, he read a bunch of literature, and that the guy who was in charge of it, he had economists break up into teams who many of them were Nobel Prize winners, and said that what would really help is that if you took care of the nutritional and educational needs of the kids. And it's because you know what people tend to do? We tend to invent things. We tend to be innovative. And it's like, if we have a problem, then we should fix it instead of running away from it and going in the opposite direction. You know, it's just like solar panels. Whenever I was a little kid, I didn't know what the hell a solar panel was. They were non-existent. Now you can find them just about anywhere in the world because people have these damn things up on their roofs. So I don't understand why people are so damn stupid that they don't understand this crap. It's like, yeah, it's just like anything else. Yeah, solar panels, they're making their advancements. Yes, it's slow and it's tedious, but they're doing it. It's because you just don't have a whole lot of just wham, bam, big monumental changes that happen, and then we just have all these things solved. I mean, it happens every now and then, and a lot of times it's because it's an accident. And that's a whole nother thing right there. So like with cancer, I see these little snippets here and there where they're trying to cure something else, and they're like, we think this will actually work for cancer. And I'll try to make a video on that too. So yes, it's just bullshit. I get so angry with this. And you know why? It's because it's all lies. And then they talk about the Paris Accord climate change, and how that if everybody was to do what they were supposed to do, it's not going to do anything. You know why? Because witch in one hand and crap in the other, and see which one fills up first. I wanted to use the other one, but I'm trying to keep it a little kid friendly because I want everyone to watch. I don't care. It's fine. So yes, you know what? That makes absolute sense. If you had more geniuses in the world, imagine if you had more Stephen Hawkins, if you had more Elon Musks in the world, or whoever, and that they were out there creating and doing all these wonderful things. That's something that they're doing in China right now, is that they're graduating more students in engineering than what the U.S. has combined in total engineers across the U.S. So imagine if the rest of the world were doing all of these things. Imagine if instead of just the U.S. being the only place where we're doing all these innovative things, what if the rest of the world was doing this? What if it was going on in Africa? What if it was going on in South America? And all these places. Imagine how many cool things that we could have and how many things that we could fix. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to do with this website, is that I'm going to bring forward up all of the truth, and we're going to segregate all this stuff out. We're going to say, yep, this is what we know to be facts. This is theory. This is opinions. And this is just flat out bullshit. Because I'm tired of this. We're just going around in circles, and it's like, how much, and we see this whenever we go to war, for example. Whenever we're really dedicated and focused in on one thing, we make a lot of progress. And because part of it is that people get scared, because it's like, yeah, if we lose, you know, what does that mean for us? Are they going to come over here and kill us? Are they going to take all our stuff? There's going to be a lot of rape and murder and all this stuff going on. And it's like, yes, actually, a lot of that stuff does actually happen. So it's good to have to stop. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and we will see you again later. Thanks a lot. Bye.